excellent! Because this, for me, is a great joy. Once in a while, I get to announce some actors, some stars that I never would have dreamed of meeting and having so near for all of your questions. And this definitely is one of those once-in-a-lifetime star moments. So give him all of your love, the one, the only, Warwick Davis! Welcome! And here we are.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello.
Well, they respond to you much better than they do to me.
It's very nice, isn't it? I pay them well.
Oh, incredible. I think that's the secret of it all, probably. No, great to have you here. I couldn't bring my daughter, but I recently, she's 11 years now. Last month I showed her the Willow the movie. And she's like, you're going to meet him? You mean the baby? I'm not going to meet the baby, I'm going to meet Willow. That's the one who's like, no way. She's flabbergasted. But I couldn't bring her here, so she has to do with whatever I tell her that how it was.
It's amazing, actually, because Willow was made a long time ago, but it's one of those films that still stands up today, doesn't it?
It's crazy, crazy. Did you see Willow? Some of you did. Excellent. I'm going to jump in between these people and have them come up with questions that we never could have thought of.
That's great, yeah.
On our own.
Well, be careful.
Yeah, I will. I've been trained to do this. I think so. I've been doing this for a while. All right, questions. If people in the chairs want to ask questions, it's easier if you come up here, otherwise I'll run to the back, that's all fine. We're quite flexible.
Hello, Warwick.
Hey there.
You have played so many different characters over the years, but what character that you play do you think is like the closest we will ever get to you as your own personality?
Firstly, what's that on your head? Oh.
It's Court of Owls from Batman. It's a mask.
Of course it is. So which character I played that's closest to me? Well, I suppose there's a bit of me in all the characters I've played over the years. A little bit of essence of me. I suppose if you've seen Life's Too Short, the Warwick in that series is not super close to me, but it's the closest. I guess Willow is quite close as well, because, you know, when you stand 3'6" tall, you have to have a lot of belief in yourself to achieve anything. And I suppose Willow had that as well. He had belief in himself and the mission he had to carry out. Thanks for your question. Thank you.
Yep. Hi, Warwick. A pleasure to meet you. I have a question about the Harry Potter movies. What was your favorite role in that, and what was your favorite moment in Harry Potter?
I enjoyed playing all the characters I played. Griphook was fun because he was a villain. It's always fun to play a bad character in a film. And I enjoyed the line when I trapped the kids in the vault by saying, I said I'd get you in, I didn't say anything about getting you out. That's a good line. But doing the kind of Wingardium Leviosa scene, that was the first scene that I did in the movie, the first thing I shot. So I was very anxious because I knew there were millions of people all over the world who had read the books and had a picture of Flitwick in their minds. So I wanted to make sure I lived up to that expectation. So there was a lot of pressure.
Question, all your hands disappeared right now, or have they been answered? No, there, see? Moving to your right.
I don't know if this is a controversial question, but I'm kind of curious. What's your opinion on the new Snow White movie, the remake? And basically the fact that they tried to change the dwarf characters to something else because of...
I mean, there's a lot of noise about it, but I haven't seen it. I don't really understand what the fuss is about, to be honest. I mean, that story's been told dozens of times over the years in different ways. Some of the versions I've been in, I mean, they're all kind of valid, I suppose. I mean, they do tell the same story. It's one of those age-old fairy tales. that were written by the Brothers Grimm, wasn't it, years ago? That's how it started. But yes, I don't have an opinion on the new film, I'm afraid.
Yes.
Hi, I'm a big Doctor Who fan, especially your character Benica Valletta. I was wondering what your experience of Doctor Who was like.
My experience of Doctor Who? I mean, I've wanted to be in Doctor Who for years, and then when Neil Gaiman wrote the episode about the Cybermen, Nightmare in Silver, I was delighted because there was a character for me in the shape of Porridge, who is the Emperor of the known universe, so no pressure. But it was a lovely role to play, and I would have liked to have gone on further and done something else with the character, because if you're the Emperor of the known universe, there's a lot of things you could be doing, I guess. So further adventures would have been fun. But I enjoyed what I did nonetheless.
So it's all you could say. Most of your work has been, well, most visible work that you did was within the fantasy realm in a broad sense. And as you were 11 when you first started out as Wicket in Star Wars, were you already? Do you remember? Were you already very much into fantasy and things that are out of the imagination? Or
Well, I was a Star Wars fan when I was 7. I first saw Star Wars.
Yes.
And so yeah, I was a fan of that sort of those films and sci-fi and fantasy in general, and always have been. I mean, I think cinema works best when it takes you somewhere else. You know, you go to a cinema and you can see a film that reflects the everyday world out there, but it's much more engaging and entertaining for me to go to see a film that transports you somewhere else. Is like magic, isn't it? So yeah, I'd rather go and watch fantasy and sci-fi genre films, to be honest.
Any favorites that you say, these ones you people have probably not seen yet, and you check it out?
Well, definitely Star Wars, obviously.
Star Wars, yeah, if you haven't seen.
And I think, I mean, films like Labyrinth kind of get forgotten because they're, you know, from the 80s, but that's still a great film. So inventive, you know, if you watch every detail in that film, it's so clever. And that was without the use of CG effects as well, so everything you see in that film is either a matte painting or a physical live effect on set, so yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Hi, not a question, but just wanted to say my heart goes out to you because of the recent.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say.
I'm sure all the people here are a fan of you, but do you have someone you are a fan of?
I have all sorts of people. Big fan of Steve Coogan and the work he does. Big fan of Will Ferrell, he makes me laugh just by looking at him.
Just by saying his name, he makes
Indeed, yeah. And John Candy was another hero in comedy of mine. And that's another favourite film, is Planes, Trains and Automobiles. I love that film.
So we write down for next week, Labyrinth,
check it out.
and Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Absolutely.
That's 2 already for a very decent evening.
Hi, is there a type of role that you haven't done yet that you would love to do?
A type of role. I'd love to play a detective of some sort.
Ooh.
Not one that runs around very much, just one that kind of ponders the clues and is very thorough in his investigations and always comes out with the answer. That kind of detective. A bit like Columbo. Have you seen Columbo?
Yes.
With a slightly less scruffy raincoat.
Like a detective, he sits most of the time and he's able to manipulate other people into running.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he doesn't run very often,
No.
does he? He points to someone else. Get him.
Get him and say, oh, of course.
Yeah, that would be me.
Then here, a question more.
This is a question about like deep in your filmography, but you've done one of my favorite films, Lepracaun-serie in space.
Can't believe 2 people in the room admitted they'd seen a Leprechaun film. That never happens.
Yeah, Lepracaun-serie in
as well.
space. Yeah, the best of the quadrilogy.
Did you use the word best in relation to a Leprechaun
Absolutely.
film?
Yeah. What was it like on that set? Because it combined like fantasy and sci-fi, and it's just really fun.
And all those films became a bit bonkers in the end, didn't they? We ran out of places to go. We went to space, went to Vegas, went to the Hood twice. Yeah, making number 4 was quite surreal. I mean, we had a kind of lightsaber version of our lightsaber in it as well.
Yeah.
And then at one point I become like a huge giant leprechaun. I remember like they'd built a sort of a small scale set so that when I was stomping around this hangar, you know, I would appear to be like 30 feet tall. And yeah, that was pretty fun. And you can't help, when you're pretending to be massive, you can't help making noises like when you're walking around. They say, Warwick, you don't need to make the sounds, we'll do that. So yeah, I mean, I look back on that and think, what was I doing? I guess, you know, as an actor, when you're offered work, you take it. That's always been my philosophy.
Great cinema.
Great cinema, he said it again about Lepracaun.
He's not taking one word back at all.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hey.
I have a question about being on the set of a fantasy film, because nowadays a lot of films are being made with only green screen, and I was wondering if you have experience with that, and if you prefer the set to be here, or how to use
Most of
your
the work
imagination.
that I've been doing, you know, especially recently, has been against a blue screen, green screen, you know, everything to be put in later with CG. I mean, as an actor, it's about believing your environment. You know, and that was something I passed on to the rest of the cast during the making of the Willow TV series. They said, Warwick, how do you deal with all this kind of nothing being here? I said, well, in your head, you've got to totally believe this is where you are. You've got to picture it in your mind. If you can't do that, neither can the audience, however good the effects are. So it's about believing where you are, seeing it. Kind of going back to when you were a kid. You know how when you were a child, you used to imagine things? You have to be just very good at that again, as an adult. So yeah, that's what I do. Just imagine it, see it in front of me, and then the audience will also do that.
It's kind of pulling a spell onto the audience, into making them see whatever you saw as an actor.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, it's all magic in the end.
Hi Warwick, I got a question.
Hello,
How is
guys.
your relationship with Ricky Gervais? Is it based on friendship or more on animosity?
Well, we're work colleagues, obviously. Working with Ricky is a really interesting experience. I learned a lot about comedy and performance. I mean, Ricky's a very talented writer, director, and also a brilliant performer as well. He's a good actor, and he knows his stuff. So, kind of, I took my lead from him and Stephen when I worked with him, and yeah, it was an interesting and challenging experience. But you need challenges in your acting life to kind of push you to the next level, and both those guys taught me a lot.
Yeah, I understand. That's a very politically correct answer, but I've heard he's somewhat of a dick in real life.
No, not at all. I mean, Ricky's very different as a person. He creates a persona which he is the person that you guys see when he does his stand-up, etc. But in fact, he's a very warm, kind of generous kind of person in real life.
Yay! Hooray for warm people! Yay! There was just checking, like putting on my sensors. Misschien op de tribune, is er iemand die een vraag wil stellen? Ja, daarachter. See, I'm gonna do this after all. I'm gonna run all the way up to here. Who put these stairs? Well, they're handy because I can. Am I too far now? Oh, here. Okay.
Hello, I've got a question from my daughter. She's a little bit exciting here. She wants to know how would you... how was your experience in the first movie
Ever made.
My first ever movie.
Your first. Well, I guess you mean
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
Well, it
Yes,
was, it was a lot of fun. I mean, for me, I was 11, so walking onto the set the first day, instead of seeing actors standing there, I just saw my heroes. I saw Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Han Solo. They weren't the actors that they were the characters. And so yeah, got a real kick out of that. Got to battle stormtroopers in real life, throw rocks at them, throw sticks at them. You know, stuff that kids only do on video games now, I got to do for real. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And also I earned some money at the same time. So for me, £60 per day was a lot of money when I was 11, a lot of pocket money.
It was more money back then, and even for a child, it was more money still. And so when you were
Absolutely.
12, you were 12 and you bought your first car, and then...
I didn't actually, I only bought a video camera, and that's what I bought with the money.
Oh, wow.
Because I'd watched them how they made the film, and kind of got the bug for making films myself, and started experimenting, making short films, and enjoyed it very much.
Excellent. Some people are hesitant, I think. You're not. You're not hesitant. You know exactly what you want to ask. Here we go.
Hi, so you've been in both Star Wars and Harry Potter, and they both have such an iconic soundtrack made by John Williams. So I was wondering, what was your favorite soundtrack in one of those movies?
Oh my gosh, I mean, you can't deny the opening to Star Wars is pretty dramatic, you know, with the huge Star Wars logo and the music that accompanies it. It's an epic way to start a film. But at the same time, you know, the theme to Harry Potter is something that we'll all know in our heads right now if we think about it. It sort of conjures up the magic of the film. I mean, John really, he paints with music, doesn't he? So he creates imagery in your head just with the piece of music he composes. And I had the honour once, a few years ago, of opening one of the attractions at Universal in Orlando. And for the opening, we did a special event where John Williams conducted the the Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra. The theme of Harry Potter was played live, and he also asked me to go up on stage and conduct after him as well, which was a true honour as well. So.
You conduct?
Well, I don't really do it. They didn't know what they were doing. I was just waving my wand around.
They knew their notes. They knew what to do.
Thank goodness for that.
Oh.
Yeah.
It could have been like a secret hobby that you never talked about. Yes.
I mean, I had to learn to conduct a little bit for my work in Harry Potter with the Frog Choir, and I had to learn to count time. 1, 2, 3, 4, all that stuff. So I'd look at least a bit convincing.
Yeah, because the frogs were god awful with their rhythm.
Oh, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. How was your experience with Val Kilmer, who was just passing away on the film Willow?
I mean, Val was a fantastic person to work with. You know, I've said this for years, not now just because he's passed away, but he was the funniest, most energetic performer to work opposite. You know, some actors are quite selfish and don't really give you any energy when you're working with them, but Val always gave a great energy, was always very encouraging to me as a performer. You know, because at times Willow was very difficult physically, in the snow, the ice, the rain, the long hours at night and stuff, and he'd always be there like, come on, all right, let's do this. And yeah, subsequently became a really good friend.
Excellent, lovely Val Kilmer.
Okay, so it's actually my sister's question, but she was too scared. Was there something you kept from the Harry Potter movie set, and if so, what is your favorite?
Let's think.
Yeah, what did you steal?
Well, my daughter was given a Gringotts galleon, so I have a real one of those. It's minted by a proper coin mint.
Ooh.
And what else do I have from Harry Potter? I have nothing else. I'd have loved my wand, but I didn't get gifted that. I also have some of the prosthetic pieces, so I've got Professor Flitwick's face, both versions. I have Professor Flitwick's teeth as well, because they were the most perfect teeth he had that slipped over my teeth. And I've got Griphook's teeth as well. So I've got 2 sets of teeth and some rubber face.
That doesn't sound too glamorous.
Well, they were very secure at the studios, you know, so you weren't allowed to take stuff. I mean, people did, and they clamped down on security and started searching cars that left the studios. And as a joke, the kids once hid Daniel Radcliffe in the back of someone's car, and it got searched when they left and found Daniel in the boot.
No, I've heard that on the Harry Potter sets that everybody who had a wand was you only received the real wand once the cameras were turning. All of the trials before were with a fake wand, so to speak, and you had to got it handed, and they immediately took it away after cut was
Well, they
called.
were beautiful props as well, and a guy would come around with a trolley and a box with the wands in and distribute them out just before a take. So once the scene had been finished, you were relieved of your wand and it was put away securely once again.
Yeah, you can't let magic just wander around.
No. I mean, they're almost as valuable as a real wand would have been, you know, treated that way.
Yeah.
Hello, so fantastic that you're here. Just a question. if money was no object, time was no object, if you could take anyone with you on a casting, what is your dream project? What would you love to do?
Dream project?
Yes.
Well, at the moment I'd love to make a sequel film to Life's Too Short. I have an idea for beyond the end of the series that could be a nice movie, so that would be a dream for me to do that, certainly.
Because this man happens to have a check
He's got a really
for
good checkbook.
20 million euros.
Research and development only.
Yeah.
True. Just one dinosaur needs to be in the movie, but
A
further.
dinosaur we need to do.
Just one, like a T-Rex.
You're a fan of dinosaurs then?
I have a few.
Ah, cool. So yeah, that would be it at the minute. But maybe I'm thinking now, it's just come to me. Yeah, the idea for the film is Warwick goes on an archaeological dig with Indiana Jones. So that's the pitch.
Oh, that's it. Start rolling. Yeah.
Well, speaking of different genres, I actually sort of had two questions in one. Ooh. You've mostly been in fantasy and sci-fi. Was that a conscious choice, or did it also have to do with the lack of roles available for people with dwarfism?
Well, it's just I take the roles I'm offered if I enjoy the character when I read the script, and it just works out that many of those have been in fantasy and sci-fi, and that is also my favourite form of cinema, like I said earlier.
Yeah, because my second question was, would you ever want to do like a big drama project or like a thriller or something that you haven't really done before?
Warwick Davis is Othello.
Yeah, I've never done Shakespeare. I don't really fancy it. Although the other day, someone got AI to do my voice reading some Shakespeare, and it was brilliant. It was so much better than I could have done it. But it was that good, my kids didn't even realise it wasn't me reading it. It was pretty impressive.
At last you're doing Shakespeare, the great bard, Father. That's what they said.
They did, they were impressive. That's really good, Dad.
You took it.
Yep.
That's what it does.
So, for me also two questions. So, what role or gig is your biggest regret? And secondly, what's your biggest missed opportunity?
I don't have any regrets, which is quite a nice thing to do, look back at your career to date and not have anything that you were like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. You know, because you put the most of you into everything you do, so you should come away proud of it if you're lucky. Missed opportunities, I don't feel there have been any. There have been roles I haven't got, but I don't feel like they're missed because it obviously wasn't to be. You know, I believe that there is a destiny for all of us, and if I wasn't meant to be in a certain project, I wasn't meant to be in it, and that's that. You know, I did my best at the time, but that obviously wasn't what they required, so I don't feel like I've missed out on anything, really. No. Thank you.
But don't look at me, put up your hands. Or don't. Or, oh, there, in the back.
There's somebody down the front here as well.
Oh, yeah? I will get that. Okay, penultimate question here.
Yes. Hi. What was working with David Bowie like in the movie Labyrinth?
That was great. I mean, David was, you know, in spite of his big hair and tight stockings, he was very ordinary as well. You know, people would call him Dave and stuff, and but then he would sort of come to life when he was performing the songs in the movie on set. Just a brilliant performer as well, and a great musician. Just so clever, and I think it was great in the film as well. He added a touch of kind of mystery and weirdness to the project that was, I think, perfect for that character.
And the final question?
Oh, no pressure.
It's got to be a good one.
I know.
I won the best question of the whole afternoon. She's still filming, she's asking, she's multitasking.
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm very bad at multitasking, so.
Make sure I'm in shot still, and now speak. Speak, woman.
I wanted to ask, you came to Star Wars when you were very young, and I wanted to ask, like, how did you end up in Star Wars in the first place, and how did that affect your young life at the time? Because you were in such a big, you know, it was such a big deal.
Well, firstly, I sort of delved into kind of meeting my heroes and stuff, so I've answered a bit of that. And the other question is really boring because that answer is something I've probably said dozens of times, and it's all over the internet. How did I get the part in Star Wars? I bet you would know this. You know this? I can't believe people don't know this. My grandmother heard a radio announcement. Did you know this?
I did, but I wanted them
See, he
to
knows
ask.
it. Oh, you did, okay. I'm a bit bored of saying it, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Yes!
As long as no one's heard it before. You can leave now if you've heard it already. Yeah, my grandmother heard a radio announcement in which Lucasfilm were looking for short actors to be in the new Star Wars film. My grandmother heard the word Star Wars and short person and straight away thought of me because she knew I loved Star Wars. Told my mum about this announcement. Mum phoned the studios and they said, we've got everyone we need. We had loads of calls, so sorry, you're too late. So I don't know what happened then. Whether my mum, I think she offered them cash and they said, bring Warwick up, we'd love to meet him. So I went up, I did an audition, I just went to the studios, met with a production assistant, and she said, so what's your name? I went, Warwick. She said, do you like Star Wars? And I went, yeah. She said, do you want to play an Ewok? And I said, well, what's one of those? And then she said, go down to the wardrobe department and we'll measure you up for a costume and you'll find out. So that was it. 2 weeks later I was on the set, opposite my heroes, as I explained earlier. And that was the start of my career. And without that one moment, my grandmother hearing the radio announcement, I wouldn't be here now talking to you guys. So that's it. I mean, that just shows, doesn't it? One moment in your life can totally change everything.
Yeah. And never turn off the radio, because you don't know whenever there's a call out for you.
That's it. Imagine if she hadn't been in the room at the time, you know, and missed it.
Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? Yeah.
you could have changed my life, but no, you had to bake something.
Yeah. You had to go to the toilet.
As if all grandmas bake something. That's not true either. Thank you very much for your time, all of your answers. Thank you for all of your questions. A lot of love for this.